Hello, guys. It's been a while, and finally, I have time and composure to do this video at long last. Frankly, I needed time to have a break from making videos sa Philippine Ricochet Line because nung na-veto yung bill natin last September, I was really frustrated. And I really needed to go out there, take a very long walk, and how should I say, drink a full bottle of Get Over It para makapag-move on dito sa issue na to. But regardless, I have a few words to say about this veto. And I want to do this para magkaroon tayo ng closure kung ano ba yung nangyari, to tell you what I think about it, and pag-usapan natin kung ano yung ba yung mga reasons na yon and what we're gonna do about it para ipasa natin tong law na to in a future attempt. And there will be a future attempt. So, lucky for us, hindi ganun kadaling sumuko ang technical working group. Okay? I, for one, am honored to be part of a very resilient and a very determined group na gagawin ng lahat para ma-improve ang ating gun laws. At sa lahat sa inyo na sumusuporta sa atin, sa buong gun community sa Pilipinas, maraming salamat sa inyong pagsuporta, guys. Hindi tayo susuko. We will do this. There will be another attempt. But in order for that second attempt to be successful, we have to understand kung ano ba talaga yung mga dahilan kung bakit na-veto tong bill na to. Okay? And more importantly, kung ano yung gagawin natin para masolusyonan ito. Okay? So, let's talk about the reasons and what we're gonna do about it. So, I'm gonna start off first with the reasons, and then we're gonna talk about kung ano yung mga gagawin natin para ma-solve to and what I think about it. Of course, I would also like to know what you think about this. How do you feel about the veto? So please comment down below kung ano ba yung nasa saloobin nyo kung bakit hindi nag-workout tong bill na to. Okay, so let's discuss this one by one. So, I'm gonna post the veto letter here in full. I posted this already sa ating Facebook group months ago. But I will post it here dito sa video so that you can see for yourself what the president wrote and what his reasons are why this didn't work out. So first off, let's go over here and discuss in page 1. Okay, so these are just the formalities like a cover letter. So nandyan yung ano natin, yung copy ng both houses ng Congress natin. And the transmittal of the veto letter. This is what we call, guys, a veto letter. Okay? And I find it weird that the veto letter came out days after the bill supposedly took effect, because here in the Philippines, if a bill isn't vetoed within 30 days, it becomes law. This veto letter pretty much only came out 2 days after the 30 days have elapsed. Parang lumalabas na pinost date lang nila. But anyway, that's just my feeling about it. That's my speculation about it. It is what it is based on the date. So we have to accept it. So the first thing here that says over here at the veto bill is saying over here, pursuant to Section 27, Article 6 of the 1987 Constitution, I'm returning herewith without my signature. Okay? The Consolidated Senate Bill number 2895, House Bill number 11539, entitled An Act Amending Republic Act number 10591 as amended, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. So first, we will just read this, guys. While I fully support the constitutional mandate under Article 2, and this is the exact quote from the letter, Section 5, that the state shall maintain peace and order, protect life and liberty, and property, and promote the general welfare, and acknowledge the intent of the bill to refine and strengthen the Republic Act 10591 or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act, I must regrettably point out that the current formulation of the measure unfortunately goes beyond the important regulatory safeguards and fails to meet its goal of promoting responsible and secure firearms governance. So, the first reason, and I quote, the bill removes the mandatory ballistic identification requirement for locally manufactured firearms, replacing it with photographic documentation. This change undermines the forensic capabilities of law enforcement agencies and contradicts Section 39 of Republic Act 10591, which was enacted precisely to strengthen investigative tools in criminal cases. Ballistic data is a critical component of firearms tracing, and its removal compromises the state's ability to fulfill its duty to protect life and property. So essentially, guys, what this part says is that ayaw nilang tanggalin yung ballistic testing because the ballistic testing was requested under Senate Bill 2895 to be removed because it is red tape. So there you go. Anyway, we'll talk about this after this part. Let's talk about the reasons first. So reason number 1 yon. Reason number 2 says over here, and I quote, the measure also increases the allowable ammunition per firearm from 50 to 500 rounds for regular license holders and up to 5,000 rounds for licensed sports shooters. These thresholds far exceed the basic load authorized for uniformed personnel, i.e. 360 rounds, and conflicts with Section 6 of Republic Act number 11917. While the state may regulate civilian firearm ownership under its police powers, the excessive quantities proposed in the bill are not reasonably necessary to achieve the objectives of self-defense and sports shooting. So that's reason number 2. In other words, guys, ayaw nila na ini-increase natin yung allowable limit ng ammunition possession from 50 rounds to 500 rounds because under Senate Bill 2895, we are requesting that the legal limit that people can own, the ammunition quantity that people can own, the legal amount of ammunition or rounds of ammunition that you can keep at home be increased from 50 rounds to 500 rounds. So they don't want that. They don't want anything to go beyond yung 360 rounds na combat load daw ng basic load ng authorized uniformed personnel. I take it this is for the PNP and AFP. So now we go to the third reason. And the third reason over here, and I quote, moreover, the streamlining of the permit to carry firearms outside residence, including extended validity and exemptions for threat assessment for certain professions, may dilute the safeguards under Section 9 of Republic Act number 10591. These safeguards ensure that only mentally and emotionally fit individuals are authorized to carry firearms in public. Responsible regulation requires rigorous vetting, not blanket exemptions. All right. So the letter closes by saying, in light of the identified statutory contradictions and inconsistencies, I am constrained to withhold my approval of the proposed measure. I remain committed to working collaboratively with Congress to refine our firearms regulation framework in a way that reinforces institutional safeguards, aligns with existing laws, and advances our shared goal of protecting communities and preserving public order. So there you go. That is what Malacanang said about the veto of Senate Bill 2895 and House Bill 11539. So now, guys, we're going to talk about my feedback on this veto. And of course, I know you also have your own opinions as to what this veto means. If you like it, if you don't like it, what are your opinions? What are your feelings? Please comment down below so that we can discuss this here in YouTube. Okay? So first off, before I say my reasons, I just want to say that regardless if I agree or disagree with these reasons, I fully respect the wishes of Malacanang. So, if we are going to do this a second time, I will do my part and remove the offending provisions or modify the Take Two bill so that it will not have any of these um, offending items, at least according to the Malacanang. That said, I disagree for the many reasons. With a lot of these reasons why the bill was vetoed. I will now explain them. But regardless, we have to agree to disagree here, as far as I'm concerned. I respect the wishes of Malacanang, so we will do it. Regardless, I just don't think that some of the reasons are sound. And I will now explain why. So number one, ballistics testing is needed. Basically, that's what the Malacanang here is saying. Okay? That we need to maintain ballistics testing of firearms. Now, the reason why we wanted to remove the ballistics testing, guys, is not because we want to aid criminals in getting away with criminal firearms use. That's not the reason. The reason why we requested the ballistics testing to be removed is because ballistics testing for all firearms greatly increases the processing time. Okay? The processing time and processing cost of all firearms being sold in the civilian market. Okay? And that is true for all firearms. Even the firearms that are being used by the AFP and the PNP, those also undergo ballistic testing, which is, I find ridiculous, because that's like saying that, well, we kind of don't trust you. That's why we're going to ballistic test your firearm, because you're not worthy of that trust. So we're going to check your firearm's ballistic fingerprint just to be sure, and just so that we can capture you quickly, because we presume that you will do crime. So again, it shows that the state really doesn't trust lawful gun owners, despite the fact that 97.8% of all gun crimes are committed with loose firearms, and not because, civilian gun owners are going around doing naughty things with their firearms. Another reason why this is a problem, guys, is because why ballistics testing is no longer or shouldn't be needed is because the ballistic fingerprint of a gun changes over time due to mechanical wear and tear. And this really only works if a gun that was just recently purchased was immediately used in a crime, and the mechanical wear and tear hasn't changed the ballistic fingerprint yet. Because, guys, mechanical wear and tear changes the ballistic fingerprint of a firearm over time. So this will only really work. Ballistic fingerprinting will only really work if a firearm was used immediately in a crime shortly after it was ballistic fingerprinted. There's a reason, guys, why we, based on, as how they do it in many other countries, why firearms are only ballistic fingerprinted after it is recovered in a crime scene. Because that way, sariwa pa yung ballistic fingerprint niya. Hindi pa siya nababago ng mechanical wear and tear. Because if you take it too early in a firearm's lifespan, it changes, and the same bullet that was fired from that gun will no longer show that same ballistic fingerprint. Okay? That's just how it is with ballistics testing. You can do more research on it, guys. That's my stand on it. But because the president asked for it, we will have to maintain that requirement to the detriment of us gun owners, because this adds processing time and cost. And it's the PNP that does ballistic fingerprinting. So for them, this is actually a source of income. So there you see the motivation why the PNP wants to hold on to ballistic testing. So veto reason number 2, ammo limit increase is a problem. So they want to ensure that us lawful gun owners will not have more rounds than the combat load of the AFP and PNP, which according to the veto letter is around 360 rounds. So, yan, I guess, guys, from looking at these reasons, these are the reasons that were mentioned by the PNP during Senate Bill 2895 hearing. So, to me, it seems that it's the PNP that gave the president all of these reasons why the bill should be vetoed. The police loadout is 360 rounds. I find it strange that we have to stay within that, below that number, because lawful gun owners, guys, don't trade fire with the PNP and AFP. We don't go around shooting the police and AFP. That's not what we do. We follow the law. We don't fight law enforcement and military. So I do not understand why it seems that parang lumalabas na napaka-insecure nila sa mga gun owners na, and I'm referring to the PNP specifically, guys, for asking this, because parang sinasabi nila na kailangan maubusan tayo ng bala kagad pag nakipagbarilan tayo sa police, therefore kailangan mas konti ang bala natin. That is ridiculous. I feel that this is so out there, so disconnected from reality, that I just don't know how to further comment from this, because lawful gun owners, even if we own, or if we end up in a position where the law allows us to own thousands and thousands of rounds, we're not ever going to shoot at the police or the military. Never. So it doesn't matter if we own 1 round or 10,000 rounds, we're not gonna go around and shoot the police. So bakit nila pinipilit na yung load na pwede sa atin, yung legal ammunition storage natin, is below their combat load? I find that really strange. I haven't heard of a single country on earth that's requesting its lawful gun, that requires its lawful gun owners to own ammunition in quantities that are less than the combat load of their army or PN or national police. That's weird. To me, this really just shows that may insecurities, that somehow that the PNP seems to think that gun owners are a problem, that we are somehow the enemy, and that they seem to have this insecurity, that we can't have more ammunition than them because we will shoot at them, I guess. That is ridiculous. However, I respect what the president is asking for, and therefore we will do this, guys. We will have to remove this sa take 2 ng bill, and we have to keep the legally allowed legal quantity of ammunition for civilian gun owners to less than 360 rounds. So that means, guys, that unfortunately for us, that means we probably have to keep it to around 200 to 300 rounds only. Maybe 359, I don't know. We'll see. Pero around probably just that much. Probably around 300 rounds or 299. Parang presyong SM, Anyway. But yeah, we respect what the Malacanang is asking for. We will do this. I don't agree on the reasons, but I respect that the Malacanang wants this, so we will have to do it. They also cite over here Republic Act 11917, which is the security guard law. I don't know how this applies to civilian gun owners, because a vast majority of civilian gun owners are not security guards. So I don't understand kung bakit nila binring up tong law na to. I think this is erroneous, but I guess they needed a reason. And also, I also have to ask kung bakit nila nire-require yung purchase limit to be lower than that, because I don't even know how you count how many rounds civilian gun owners have, or how do you even keep track of that? Our licensing system does not keep track of the number of rounds that we have, and if it did, how do we even update it if we go to a firing range and fire what we have at home? How would they know how many rounds we fired? So anyway, I find it weird talaga yung veto reason number 2 na yan. So again, because ang Malacanang asked for it, we have to comply, and we have to modify the Take 2 bill so that it complies with this. So anyway, balik tayo sa veto reason number 3. Exemption to the threat assessment is not acceptable. I find it strange that the veto letter was written like that for this part, because it makes no mention of the threat assessment additions for allied medical, active and retired AFP and PNP and AFP reservists. Shouldn't it be a good thing that AFP reservists are no longer asked to do the threat assessment? Kasi importante sila for national security, guys. We need AFP reservists to have easy access to PTC FOR and to be rid of the requirement and threat assessment exemption, because we want our AFP reservists to have an easier time training on their firearms, so that when the country comes under attack, we will have more proficient and skilled AFP reservists when it comes to their firearms. Because right now, guys, every time you travel to a firing range, you need a permit to transport firearms outside the residence, and that's only valid for 1 day. Number 1 yon. And number 2, if you don't have a PTTFA and you wanted to go to the firing range, you need to have a PTC FOR to transport your firearm over there with the ammunition. Problem here is, guys, is that it's very expensive to maintain a PTC FOR, and it's very troublesome to get a PTTFA. So, these two things create tons and tons of red tape for people who simply want to train with their firearms. That means, guys, that instead na nakakapag-practice ang mga reservists natin ng madali, dahil nakakapunta sila ng range ng madali, para makapag-practice sila, kailangan pa nilang gawin yung either PTTFA na yan or PTC FOR, which is sobrang hassle at magastos. This red tape that we have on the movement of firearms and ammunition is actually detrimental to our national security because it reduces the ability of our guys to train with their firearms. So that's my take on it. Also, I find it strange nga that the veto letter makes no mention of the fact that what we were asking a threat assessment exemption for was for allied medical. So ito yung mga nurses, medtech, radiological technicians for hospitals, dentists, veterinarians. That's the reason, that's who we were asking a threat assessment exemption for, plus active and retired AFP and PNP, plus lahat ng AFP reservists. We weren't asking for a threat assessment exemption for everybody, nor were we lowering yung requirement for LTAP applications by removing yung neuropsychiatric evaluation, but the letter seems to be pointing to that. It seems to be implying that we're making it easy for people to have firearms, therefore, this bill is getting vetoed. No. We are simply removing red tape for people who already have an LTAP, who have registered firearms, who are just simply going to the range and want to practice with their firearms some more para hindi na sila mahirapan pa. Because a lot of our nurses din kasi, guys, they work in hospitals ng GY shift and some of them live in dangerous areas. It is important for them to be able to easily carry firearms with them. So, tulong sa kanila to because ang laki ng effort ng mga nurses sa atin, guys, to contribute to our nation. So, malaking tulong na ma-exempt sila dito para hindi na sila mahirapan pa, mabawasan yung red tape. Pero parang pinapalabas ng Malacanang na, no, we need to have more red tape for those people. I don't understand this. And yun nga, because it reduces our AFP and PNP, active and retired, and reservists' ability to, train with their firearms at the range, this is actually detrimental to national security. The PTTFA and the PTC-FOR requirement for them is actually detrimental to national security because we want our guys to be really proficient with their firearms. And if you're going to take that away, you're going to make it very difficult for them to do this. Don't be surprised if they go into combat with less skills than they should have, so that they can be victorious in their mission. So, I find it really strange na ganyan yun, Pero, like the ammo limit increase, which requires us to get a PTTFA if you want to buy rounds of ammunition in a gun show and from a gun store, and pinipilit pa rin nila na i-maintain natin yung PTTFA at threat assessment exemption. I think that I know the reason kung bakit gusto ng PNP na i-maintain tong mga requirements na to. I think I know kung bakit gusto nilang i-maintain yung red tape. Because, let's be honest here, guys, all of this red tape, all of these requirements, it generates income for them. That's really, to me, the motivation kung bakit nila gustong i-maintain tong mga bagay na to. Now, I don't know if Malacanang is aware of it or not, but because the Malacanang says that we have to do all of these things, we have to modify and remove certain things from Senate Bill 2895 and 115, House Bill 11539 in order for it to be considered by the Malacanang, we have to do it, guys. So, pasensya na muna, pero mukhang hindi natin mabibigyan ng threat assessment exemption ang kahit sino at hindi tayo makakapagdagdag ng any elements doon kasi magiging veto reason yon ng Malacanang. So, in other words, guys, we will follow what the Malacanang says sa take 2. And regardless if we agree or not on the reasons, we have to do it because we have to respect the wishes of the President so that the bill, if it's refiled again, becomes law. So there you go, guys. We have to do that so that Malacanang will sign off on a future bill. Do you agree with this, guys? Do you not agree with it? I know I have my feelings on this. I can't say everything on video. Pero that's how it is from a top-down summary on why the bill was vetoed and what we're going to do to succeed at it at another time. So again, we respect the wishes of the President of the Republic of the Philippines. We will modify the bill and we will refile it so that it gets approved by Congress, of which they've already approved of it, and by the office of the President. So there you go. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you. Maraming salamat sa mga panonood at sa continued nyo na pagsuporta sa lahat ng ginagawa natin. I would like to thank the technical working group for all of your efforts. I would like to thank the entire gun community of the Philippines for staying with us throughout this whole laborious, tedious process, truth be told. But we will continue, guys. Don't worry. We will push through. We will carry on. And I would also like to say thank you sa Congress and to all of their staff, a lot of them unnamed, for helping us out. You guys were fantastic, especially sa Senate. And even in House of Representatives, for overwhelmingly voting the bill. And yun nga, I would still like to thank the President for going through this and guiding us in what we should change so that you can finally approve of it. So yun yung guys. So again, I know this has been somewhat of a difficult and frustrating journey for some of us, but it only shows you guys how fragile gun laws are and what we need to do to succeed at this. That said, we did win something, and I will discuss that in a future video. Okay? So thank you very much, guys, for watching. And don't worry, we will continue. We will carry on because this is what we need to do in order to succeed. We are resilient. We are determined. We are persevering. We are Filipino gun owners. And we will carry on until we succeed. So thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next video.